Welcome, children. It is wonderful to be part of the Winter of Wellbeing here from my corner of Newport in Wales. My name is Sangeet, Bhullar, and I come from an organisation called Wise Kids, which works with children and young people just like you, as well as professionals like teachers and librarians across the UK to develop their digital skills to be effective digital citizens. And it's proving to be so important for their well-being too. Well-being to Wise Kids is all about having peace of mind, feeling comfortable in the space that you're in, and knowing how to handle life's ups and downs. One of my favorite well-being books is a book titled Wabi Sabi, which tells the story of a cat who wants to know the meaning of her name. And the story is all about recognizing beauty in unexpected places. One of my other favorite books is a book by Shel Silverstein called The Missing Piece Meets the Big O. It captured so much about our human selves with humor and lovely drawings as well. Growing up, I would often borrow books from my local library. Libraries for me are magical places we can get access to so many lovely books without having to buy them. They're also a great place to go online. And if you're stuck and need some information, there are lovely librarians who can help you with that as well. So, on to my first question. What is an effective digital citizen and what does that mean? Well, a digital citizen is an everyday person just like you and I, someone who uses the internet. And being an effective digital citizen is all about being smart online and being kind online too, knowing how to use the internet well and not getting tricked or scammed by what you read and what people say online. It is about enjoying all that the internet offers, but also learning to manage the things that are not so nice online. I know that in the pandemic, we've all had to go online more, and whilst that has been fun for some people, other people have found it quite challenging. So being a smart digital citizen here is all about making your time online safer and more enjoyable. Over the years, I've worked with thousands of young people and teachers and professionals, and they've all said how much our sessions have helped them manage their time online and their experiences online. And the questions that they have asked and you have asked are so smart and help me and Wise Kids understand the issues that are affecting you and what work we need to do. So questions. Here's another one. What is the internet actually? All of us talk about going on the internet and going online, but what does that actually mean? Well, the internet is made up of computer networks that go across the world, and these networks are connected through phone line, through satellite, through undersea cable. Did you know that there are cables that connect up countries that run on the seabed? And did you know that there are satellites in space that can provide internet access to areas in the world that cannot get it otherwise so easily? Amazing. A good way to think about the internet is that it's like a giant city, but it's an international city with people from all over the world using it. And just like a real city, it has lots of lovely places, but it can also have some not very nice sites and services. So we need to be street smart online and not get taken in. We need to know where is good to go and where to avoid online. We also need to know when and how to get help when things go wrong or when we find things we don't like online. In this international city of connections, we can send messages, videos, share information, buy and sell goods, not only with people from our schools or who live down our streets, but with people from all over the world. Using services like DuckDuckGo or Google or Bing, we are connected to a global network of information that we can search for and find answers to. Did you also know an interesting fact? So many of us browse the internet in English, but there are many people who browse the internet in other languages like Spanish or Chinese or Russian. Okay, on to my next question. What do I like about the internet? Oh, I like that question. Thank you so much. Well, there is so much of cool stuff you can learn and do online. If you like to read, you will know that there are amazing apps and websites for reading stories. You can even get stories read to you using Audible books. And have you seen all those fan fiction sites where you can write your own versions of popular stories featuring characters from books or TV series or films? All very cool. Okay, a related question here. How can I enjoy hobbies online? Well, this is where the internet is amazing. You can listen to music, discover new artists, get creative, share your own music, and connect with your friends. And you can visit and meet people you might never have otherwise. Just look at some of the amazing talks and meetups here on the Reading Agency channel. It's like having these wonderful writers visit you in your own home and talk about their books and stories. These interviews can be just like bumping into your favorite footballer or singer in the street and having a chat. How cool is that? How can we stay safe online? Such a great question, and probably one of the most important questions we get asked at Wise Kids. Well, the first thing is to think about what you share online and with whom. Just like we wouldn't tell someone walking down the street about our personal lives or about our disagreements with a friend or about our family situation, in the same way we need to think about what we share when we're online on the internet. Because sometimes that information can get out to people you just didn't think about. And by the way, this is not just an issue for children. I have to tell you a funny story. Some years ago, a group of young men in their 20s stole some goods, and then they proceeded to make a Facebook group to brag about all the stuff that they'd stolen. Unbelievable. Well, someone saw the stuff they posted and reported it to the police, and guess what? All of the men were arrested and prosecuted. I don't think they thought about who could see that content or the consequence of that. So it's important to really think about what we share and with whom, and not to share anything that may be sensitive. Here's another really good related question. Can digital data like pictures and messages we share privately ever get out? That is, be seen by people we didn't want them to be seen by? Well, they can. To start with, we should make sure to only allow trusted friends to see that information. Now, most services we use have privacy settings, and that's where we can decide who should see our content. And we should certainly use those privacy settings. However, I want you to be aware that photos and information that you share privately can still sometimes get out. And that's because sometimes other people can share it. Someone can take a screenshot. Sometimes we lose our devices. And maybe sometimes it's because we've had a row with a good friend of ours, and maybe they've decided to get back at us by sharing our content. So accidents in life can sometimes make something that was meant to be private actually come out more publicly. And so it's always important to think about your privacy settings and also about what you share. And if you're ever worried about this, you can always speak to a teacher or a family member to get help with those privacy settings. I'm getting lots of questions about safety, so I can see there's some really good critical thinking going on here. Well, another thing to be really aware of are online scams. Unfortunately, there are a small number of people online who like to trick others. Some of these scams come in the form of pop-ups saying you've won something. You know those pop-ups, messages that seem to appear from nowhere on your screen when you're playing a game or watching a video? These are pop-ups you should ignore. Sometimes you can get an email appearing to be from a company saying you need a security update. Sometimes it appears to be from your bank, and these are what we call phishing scams. Remember, a bank will never send you a link that you need to click on in an email. But these are not just banks that get targeted by scammers. Sometimes you might get an email that says that it's from a shop where you've purchased some goods, but you actually never purchased those goods. So it's important to be street smart online and be aware of these scams. Here I have a question about cyberbullying. Well, this is something I get really upset about. What is cyberbullying? Well, it's when people use technology and the internet to deliberately cause hurt to another person. This can take the form of untrue stories or hurtful messages to make another person feel upset or to humiliate them. And online bullying can be really hurtful. Imagine if someone at your school or college left hurtful messages on their phone or social media for another person. Or imagine if a group of people ganged up on another and sent nasty messages online. How would they feel? We would never do, such things face to face, yet lots of people feel that they can do this online. So the first thing to know is that you should take action. Talk to a trusted adult. It could be a teacher or a librarian. If you can, take a screenshot of the messages and definitely block the person where possible on your phone or social media account. If someone's life is ever in danger, always contact the police. We also need to be really mindful of our own actions when we are online. Sometimes it's easy to forget that there's someone else at the end of a computer or phone who may misunderstand a message or get hurt by words that are used. How cool would it be if we used the internet to share the nice, kind stuff instead? Imagine spreading that happiness. We all have the right to be safe online, and this is even more important if you're a child. In the UK, there's a lovely lady named Bernos Kidron who has been campaigning for children's rights, and she runs an important organisation called the Five Rights Foundation. Do tell your parents about her and look up her website, fiverightsfoundation.com. It shares information about all the work that they're doing to promote children's rights online. What are some cool things I can learn online? That is a great question. There are so many cool things you can learn online. One of the most important things about the internet is the fact that we are connected to so much of knowledge and information today. Everything ranging from Wikipedia, which is like the largest encyclopedia online, to things like MOOCs. MOOCs, I hear you ask. A MOOC, M-O-O-C, is a massive open online course. Did you know that top universities in the world offer free short courses on all sorts of interesting things? And these are the MOOCs that I'm talking about. And if you haven't heard about them, maybe there's a MOOC that you might like to do. There are MOOCs on all sorts of subjects. Maybe there's a MOOC that you'd like to do with your family. There are many other things that you can learn online too. For example, if you're interested in computer coding, there are many websites that can teach you how to code and even to program your own games. You can learn all sorts of arts and craft online, as well as learn how to cook. YouTube has all sorts of videos teaching you these skills. What if you were interested to learn another language? Well, apps like Duolingo are great for that. They provide lessons for many of the world's popular languages. I hope that these answers and stories have given you some ideas for how you can develop your knowledge and skills as digital citizens. I wish you a wonderful time reading, exploring and creating during this winter of well-being.